In the 21st century's decade, the prediction was 4 good things, 1 bad thing. 4 good things were that we will have artificial intelligence, we have automation, robotics, 3D printing, which will make a significant impact in giving better health. But there was always also a big threat. By World Economic Forum said, by 2020 to 2030, 80% of the deaths will be from NCDs. NCDs are heart disease, strokes, cancer, diabetes, and infection. These 5 diseases are called NCDs. I add 2 more to it now: obesity and the mental health.
So we are very honored and excited to be talking to you, sir. Nobody in this country needs an introduction, but I read this book on You Healer, and I found something very interesting, which Mr. Ratan Tata told about you, is that the model that you built with Apollo Hospitals has been noticed and emulated in other countries in the developing and developed world. And he's told about you that Dr. Reddy, he's always remained humble, affable, and extremely down to earth, ready to help and assist and worry about the details later. And what Mr. Mukesh Ambani said is that your commitment to both quality and compassion in the service of patients has remained unmatched. But what I found sums up amazingly about what you've done is what Sadhguru says, that Dr. Pratap Reddy has transformed the concept of healthcare in India. In many ways, we can demarcate healthcare in India as before Apollo and after. So, I didn't want to get into all the laurels or the achievements or your accomplishments, but these to me define who you are, and something that you said stands out. And as a doctor, as a philanthropist, as an entrepreneur, as a visionary, something that to me defines medicine, healthcare, and what this country needs is that you said that I truly believe that medicine's curative value is enhanced when the physician and other institutional personnel give personal attention to patients. I believe that patients aren't simply numbers. Medicine is a matter of people. And that means paying special attentions to people's feelings, anxieties, trepidations, worries, and hopes. I want to ask you, this is so powerful, and we are so honored to have you in our country, because you have, for people like us, we have grown up with private healthcare, seeing what India can have the best, is because you decided at the age of 50 to come back and create this infrastructure, create this vision, create this dream, and make it a reality for millions of us in India. I want to ask you, Dr. Reddy, today, as we face the biggest challenge that the human race has ever faced, I want to understand from you the role of empathy, the role of compassion as in the medicine profession, as doctors, hospitals, everyone is seeing such unprecedented number of patients, unprecedented number of people falling ill, getting the virus. How do you see the role of empathy, compassion, humanity, and the values that you stand for coming into play now?
I think you put it beautifully, but you put it also in such a way that what really is happening on ground. People are not just hearing the news, they're getting panicked.
Yeah.
They're getting panicked. Not that this is, as I told you earlier, the mortality in India of this disease is around 2%. So, but if you take other diseases like heart attacks or strokes or cancers, all of these, the mortalities are very, very high. But in this, they got so scared because of the rapidity with which it is spreading, and it looked as though it was thousands of miles away. Then it became miles away. Then now it's only a few feet away. because who don't know, you're standing next to him, you don't know what you're going to get from him. So that is the fear that has really rattled everybody. If there is one major treatment that we need to give our people today, it is a treatment of the mental illness. Not that I'm criticizing them, I'm just saying this is happening. They
Yeah.
wear the gloves, they wear the mask, then they try to stay the distance and cough, they protect. All of these are good. But this they have never done for any other disease before. Although continuously we've been telling them, suppose you have heart disease, you should not be eating a few things, but they did not mind. Maybe only once or twice I'll eat. But that question it doesn't take. Even cancers, even the fear is there in people, but they never bother to know that, have I got cancer? Can I go and have a health check done? You know, but the first health check in the world was created by me. Way back in 1974, I created a world heart check with a friend of mine who is a brilliant pathologist. We were very good friends in US. He came as a holiday to spend 10 days with Reddy's. So we were staying in the house, and one day he came to the clinic. And then I told David, look, why are we treating heart attacks? This guy has diabetes, hypertension, and lipids. Suppose we have controlled all of these, you wouldn't have got heart attack, no? So like that, we did say for almost all. Then we sat down and wrote for 2 hours, you know, saying what are the things, risk factors. Then analyze, saying how do you check for these risk factors. So then called the printer at 1 o'clock. I called it as mass health checkup and gave it to the printer. That night I called 100 doctors in honor of Dr. David Golick. And good thing was he brought 100 brochures to give it to those doctors. One of those doctors sent 2 patients from Lucas TVS. Even today, Lucas TVS gets 25% discount. But what they do is, you know, they're a fabulous company. They collect the money, they add another equal amount and send it to us, our charities. So the analysis goes back to that. From that day. We have done over 22 million checkups. Government of India has given us a stamp. So that is important, but that is not the credit for me. The credit for me is the people who say, whenever I travel by flight, Dr. Reddy, I had my checkup with you 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now I'm continuing in another center, but I'm so happy I'm keeping well. My pressures are perfect. My sugars are normal. Yeah, that is what I would like to hear. This is more than giving me big presents. You know, Prabhu Chawla, he conducted an interview. He said, opening, saying, "I'm what I am today in this good health. It is because with Dr. Reddy I had a checkup 40 years ago." So I think this is how health should transform. You know, we always say, prevention is better than cure. 4 good things that the 20th century, second decade has brought: artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, we got a global contract and got a company from UK, called DXC. So they are analyzed the entire checkups, and then now they made what's called a personalized health check. That means if I take blood from 10 people, the test is not the same for 10 people. From his history and physical, automatically the tests are different, relevant to his system. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add gene analysis also, and it becomes truly, truly personalized medicine. That is what we're now working on. So I think so much is happening, but the way and there's several. First, please understand, if I have brought this change in the country, but many others are doing equally well. So I give the entire credit for the healthcare in the country from nowhere. You know, when I came back in the city, there was only ECG machine. Now, Apollo itself has over 1,000 machines. And in the whole country, like that, there is a total transformation from the time I came back from US and started practicing as a cardiologist. It looked as though we're practicing in no man's land, where nothing was available. But certainly the country has made a good progress. For that, I give you only one reason. Indians, by trait, they are intelligent. The only thing is, we are not the most intelligent people in the world. There are other set of intelligent people in the world, but they are more focused.
Mm.
You know who they are? The Japanese. Japanese. They focus and go to that level. Here, we get slightly diverted. Suppose I'm talking to you very seriously. Suppose someone comes into the room, I turn my head towards him. But a Japanese guy won't do that. I give credibility to Indians. So whatever the Prime Minister is saying that one day we will be one of the top countries in the world, I think it's possible. But what we need is some regimentation.
Yeah.
We need to follow certain guidelines, and all of India follow this. And ignore disease that is hurt now, instead of fearing about it, take steps to prevent it. That's what in Kavach we have clearly defined. First, to prevent, then if you get it, what symptoms you will have, and then what we have opened a new IT system, 24/7 Apollo. So anybody can dial into it, and the doctor will tell them what the symptoms are, what they need to do. So our advice is, if there are no symptoms, and if they have positive, they say you can stay in one of these hotels, but you want to stay in a hospital. But in those hotels, we have our doctors, nurses, everybody to take care of them, advise them. Now, as I said, this is the way we are managing COVID. We've done over a lakh of tests. We have treated probably around 29,000 or 30,000 people, but not all of them are hospitalized. There are over 2,000 beds in the various cities. But because I'm a hospital which should serve all of the diseases. So what we have done is, we've done what is called an iron curtain between COVID patients area and non-COVID patients area. Some hospitals are totally dedicated to COVID. In our main hospital, for example, which does transplants, everything possible. We have a cancer hospital, which what the world has, what proton, the latest technology that is available anywhere in the world, that is available here. But they charge $180,000 for a treatment. I charge $45,000 for the same treatment and a better equipment, latest equipment. So the fear is, because of this, patients are not going to hospitals.
Yeah.
But they feel they'll catch a thing. They don't know that we have completely made an iron curtain between these two patients, and also our staff, our doctors, our nurses, our supporting staff, all of them enter and exit through the separate entrance. They live separately for this period. We thought 3 months, now we don't know, maybe 3 years, but they live separately. So there is no interaction between these two.
Dr. Reddy, I want to ask you this, that, you were the first doctor, entrepreneur person in India who actually talked about, from a private standpoint, about affordability of healthcare, and you propagated the 1 rupee insurance for people. Today more than ever, because of this pandemic, the whole affordability of healthcare, because now, as you also said, and then now we know that it's spreading to smaller towns, it's spreading to villages. There is more than ever the need for the proper, robust healthcare, and more so the affordability of healthcare. What would you like to say? Because you have, you took this on you to ensure that there is a 1 rupee healthcare facility insurance, and you've talked about it, you've promoted it, and you've stood for it. But what do you think? Has India made that journey? And what is the journey that we have to make healthcare very affordable?
Most important thing is to realize that when you arrive fall sick, it is no longer your business or my business. Your friends, your relatives have to take you to a good hospital and make arrangements to pay. So that's why I pleaded with the Prime Minister and with Mr. Malhotra, who was the secretary in charge of these insurances, to bring the insurance law. I talked to him extensively on 2 occasions for more than 3 hours. Please do the general insurance, but first please roll out health insurance, because people are dying and they are not able to afford the care suddenly. Suppose a bird comes for a middle class, 1 lakh rupees is too much for him.
Yeah.
But if you had an insurance, by paying 1,500 a year, that 1 lakh is nothing. Up to 3 lakhs, you would have got his insurance. So today they are paying 10,000 rupees, and their insurance is close to 30, 40 lakhs of rupees. So there is no burden of money on them. This is where I think there's a great opportunity that India has, and we must use that. Number one, in the last few years, the last decade at least, about 15% of most of these big hospitals who are doing tertiary and quaternary care, these are all foreign patients. Now, we did heart surgeries, then went to all other surgeries, then we went to the transplant, then we did robotic surgery, then we bought all equipment. First CT in the country was bought by me, first MRI was bought by me, first tomogram, first PET CT. Now, the world's best proton cancer facility is one of the finest in the world. The latest technology, everything in the hospital. 1,500 crores I spent.
Wow.
My board was stunned. They won't pass it, but they didn't say no. So the item got carried through without no. But now everybody is proud. The first 100 patients, 41 patients from abroad. One patient who went to Mayo Clinic, he paid the money, $1,80,000, suddenly saw it in about Apollo, and there were 3, 4 doctors' names. He called the doctors and told the doctors, we are in Mayo, I already paid for it. About your hospital, why you are saying you are the latest hospital? So they described. And I called back on next day, and if I come, when will you give me an appointment? He said, we'll give you next Friday. He arrived here. He finished his treatment 21 days. He and his wife came to see me. They said, we must see that man and go, otherwise. The wife went on, Dr. Reddy, I had my surgery for my breast in Royal Marsden in London. But we went to Mayo, 6 days we were there. And we paid the money. And after seeing your Apollo on our phone and talking to our doctors, we thought this is a better place to come. We came. And believe me, you are the world's best. Nobody can come anywhere near you. So happy to see that. So I go there now every week. But of course, now foreigners cannot come. Even Indians also, they're coming on air ambulances because of this so-called COVID. I think that's what we have done in every department. What I've done, we've done the best. For a heart, that's why I started it. We've done, Cleveland Clinic is #1 in the world, was. They are now around 170 or so. There are 1,84,000 surgeries. And in medicine, it's not the numbers, it's the quality of care. Our outcomes are better than 99%.
Wow.
So the same in transplants. I went to Mayo Clinic, heart, liver, kidney, pancreas, all the transplants. Mayo Clinic gave me a bunch of flowers and said, Dr. Reddy, this is for you for overtaking us after 21 years. They were the leaders for 21 years. Now we are far ahead, but our cost is one-sixth of the cost. And our results are
Yeah.
the same or better. I think that is the thing. When somebody trusts you, you must live up to his trust. No, that this is what I always tell my family. See, you must live up to his thoughts. What does he want? He wants fine care, finest care. So, but along with it, because he is with us, he wants all other services first: room to be clean, food be nice, should be nice, people should be courteous. So I said you should score on that. So we have what's called the patient's happiness index. Anywhere if it falls less than 80%, we should say, what should I do? Where is it wrong? So fortunately, everybody has taken it as their thing. It's not Dr. Reddy anymore. It is family member Oliver. I have four daughters married, but there are others who at all levels see that everything goes to his happiness. But the only thing is we can't save everybody, but we try to save everyone. But our results are the best because we never compromise on the equipment or on the infrastructure. So this is what made Apollo today as one of the finest hospitals in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Reddy, it is so inspiring. Like, India, all of us as Indians, we owe you because you, uh, you know, there are so many firsts that you've done, and health is so important. Life is so important. I mean, you've done so much that we're lucky to have you in our country. I want to ask you, in your journey, you would have faced so many hardships, and I'm now talking of you as an entrepreneur, because you as an entrepreneur, you started this, you expanded, grew this. You would have faced so many people questioning you, so many negativity, so many people doubting you, so many, the odds would have been so high. And I'm asking you today because for every entrepreneur, everyone who's trying to change the status quo, they have to go through these hardships. I want to ask you, from your journey, how did you deal with that? How did you constantly keep on, doing things, making things? And today you are saying, you for cancer also, you're doing.
People, the moment I heard I was wanting to do this, called me a fool. So I took that, that became my strength. I must do it. In Delhi, I had to pass through so many bureaucrats. Meeting Prime Minister was easy because you see her in the morning in Dharma Darshan. And once in a while she'll say, I would have told RK or somebody. She said, oh, you want to talk to me. That means I'm going to have a cup of coffee with her. So I wait and they'll take me, and sometimes breakfast with her. And I tell this, and then she will instruct something. But I had to go to the respective department. But I have also seen the lower division clerk saying, I'm busy, come after 3 days.
Mm.
I have to meet so many of them to pass so many things. So then I developed BP, I developed diabetes, and my ECG, resting ECG was normal. So then I said, I must take care of it. So I had a checkup today, this morning. My sugar is 80, my BP is 140/70. My ECG is absolutely normal.
Yeah.
I think that is what I wanted to teach people. This reversal of NCDs, that is what I wanted to tell them, saying if you eliminate those risk factors, you will be normal. So we were wanting to wage a war on NCDs. But unfortunately, the date was given. It was March 28th. So called the various company doctors and HR people. to announce to them that this is available. You must save all your people from this terrible thing. But unfortunately,
That will happen soon. That will happen. Dr. Reddy, you've made so many things happen. I'm sure this is going to happen very soon. But how do you process? Do you do meditation? How do you deal with, how did you deal with all the negativity that came your way? Did you have some technique to deal with all the
I really like
challenges?
that. For example, this morning my diet was fruits. There's no oil in it. Afternoon like that, evening, I have a small snack, like dinner. I'm happy. And in the bargain, lost a little weight, so we're much more happier. It's not difficult. And of course, I do a lot of prayers. And meditation, the prayers is like meditation. So that keeps my mind unperturbed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have gone mad. This COVID came because we had all the plans rolled out for N series. My ambition for to leave behind for the country is number one is to see that people should not die as WHO or World Economic Forum expected. So we should bring down the death rates, especially in young people. Who heart attack who's coming on New Year's Day? There are 21 young people who came with acute heart attack. All this, if they didn't, if we didn't have the plastic, we couldn't have saved them. But if they listen to what we suggest, the steps, 4 steps or 5 steps, you'll be normal. You won't get a heart attack. Maybe you get 70, but not at 30. So, because here again, we realize the Caucasian heart attack is different from African, Asian heart attack. Asians get a heart attack very early. Caucasians get it in the 70s, we get it in the 30s. Of course, we went through a lot of it. Now they say about 300 years ago, there was a famine. That time our gene was altered.
Mm.
So much work has gone into it.
Dr. Reddy, I want to ask you that you've done so much for this country and you are at it and you are continuously doing it. And but if you had to look back and say that my life feels beautiful, good, and these are the reasons why, that I feel happy that I lived a good life, what would you say?
No, I enjoy every day I make rounds in the hospital. One thing which I don't miss is the most serious department is the intensive care. And I see there the people, how serious they are. I remember recently I had a girl who was only 21 and she had complete septicemia. Nobody gave even 1% chance. So they treated her, and after that treatment one day, suddenly I got a call saying it's her birthday. She said she won't cut the cake without you. I felt so happy going there, seeing here is a girl whom we thought she wouldn't live. Now she's fine, she's celebrating her birthday. And she wants me to participate. So I think that types of pleasure is quite a lot. Even our late President Kalam, he had his nephew here in our ICCU. He got some infection when he went to Australia and came back. He got admitted in some nursing home, and by the time he came to us, he had severe infection, including the brain. So he stayed 12 hours a day in the hospital. His son's grandson stayed for almost 10 days. So then when he could open his eyes, he told my secretary, I want to go and meet Dr. Reddy, wherever he is. So he told, I said, I'm in Delhi, I'll go and see him. So he said he cannot come and see me. I gave him two options. It was Sunday. I can see him in his house, or I've not seen his hospital in Delhi. I can go to the hospital and see, go around, and then go to his room and thank him. That's all right. He came to the hospital, went from, and we had a few colleagues. He said, I've also seen several American hospitals. Your hospital is as good or better than that. But what you are great is your compassion.
Wow.
That is what I'm proud of people's, that we call it passion. We have a lady who is in charge as a passion officer. So this is what we try to do.
Wow.
Try to get a smile on their face even when they are getting better. And with that smile, they get better faster.
Yeah, yeah. And Dr. Reddy, I have to ask you, as a doctor, as a cardiologist, as an entrepreneur, and as someone who's been at the frontier of medicine, bringing the latest technology to the country, making it accessible to everyone, I want to ask you as a doctor, and have been always very curious. You are a spiritual person, you pray, as a doctor, do you believe that there is a larger power when it comes to health and there are miracles that happen? Or is it the advancement in science only? Or are these two worlds somewhere connected to come together?
I think we have to do our best. And then that's so-called godliness we will bless. So it can't happen according to us. It can't happen without our working hard for it. So we do everything possible. This is why we always say when a difficult problem, suppose the patient is in the hospital for 5 days, the second doctor also must see. So best of two brains is always better than one. Even my most brilliant doctors might have missed something. So we make them see a second time. Like that, we have several things, steps, which build them. I call them as a family. They may be a nurse or a ward boy or a doctor. For me, entire lot of family. So this that makes them also very easy to express, to treat the patient as though it is their patient. The housekeeping boy, he says, "Sir, I've done your room well. If you find anywhere something wrong, please don't hesitate. This is my number, call me." And same thing, the housekeeper boy brings the food. I've brought the food. I think you like it. If there's something that is missing, let me know. Or you want me to change it, I will change it in a very short time. Like that, I think they take a personal interest. That is what it is. So Dr. Reddy is only secondary now. They are all primary people who do all this.
Right.
I concentrate only is the thing. Number one, I was trying to see this COVID, how do we get immunize as many people as possible. So I sincerely hope instead of the foreign vaccines, if Indian vaccine that Hyderabad, Santa Biotech or Poonawalla has done a lot, they eradicated polio because of that wonderful man. He's a good man, I know him very well, but not as a race goer. So I know him very well. I have great admiration because he does that vaccines as a charity. So he will make it reasonable so that we can give it to everybody. I hope that will happen as soon as possible. But the next thing is, as I said, there is time has given us is four major things: artificial intelligence, automation, robotics, and 3D printing. So we must use artificial intelligence for everything better. For example, from the time he thinks of a hospital, that should guide him where to go. And when he comes to hospital, he shouldn't waste a minute. You should take him as quickly as possible for specific things. When the doctor orders a test, you should go and finish the test then. No, they're spending 5 hours. I want that to come down to 55 minutes. So all of it artificial. Then it is able to read X-ray more than a doctor. It is able to read the MRI better. So all of these things, best uses you must make. And I think it's only the beginning of artificial intelligence. We'll keep on giving more and more things to help us to give greater service to patients. That's one. The automation is tremendous for everything. I think for infection, you should automatically have every place an automation to the machine. It blows off so that nobody gets infected. And you come to a hospital, you'll see there's a robot which asks, what's your name, what's your number? Then have you got fever? If you say no, it will put the electric thermometer and then says that about cold, fever, sneezing, throat pain. If nothing else, I'll let you go. You go to that counter. If it's this, then you go to this counter, fever clinic. So like that, and we are doing the robotic surgeries, probably the largest number in the country. We have about 5, 6. But I'm waiting for a day and when we do 100 robotics in all the hospitals. So by doing the robotic surgery, the patient's surgery outcome is at least 10% better. Complications are very few. And more importantly, you can go home early, second day, third day. We're doing a robotic heart surgery now. We have a surgeon in Hyderabad, Bangalore, who has done the world's largest number of minimal heart surgery without cutting the bone. He does that half inch. So he's now started doing robotic heart surgery. So like that, I think these robots can make a big difference in treating all diseases. So, one of our doctors 4 years ago started colorectal surgeries using robot. Phenomenal. And then he got associated with Cleveland Clinic, London Clinic, plus Barcelona. So they work together. Whatever they learn each other, they exchange. They send people here. So it's a tremendous program. Like that, I think many things should do with robots. And finally, 3D printing is, we are now getting knees made, some size, but not for your size. Similarly, a neck bone, if it fractures, you are putting an artificial thing, nearly normal. But if you have 3D printing, you get exactly what you need. So that's also should pick up, because now it's a little expensive. But I think as we use it, it will come down.
Yeah.
So this is one of my wishes. The second thing is, I want the government to realize that one of the most important portfolio for the government is keeping their people well.
Yeah.
That means Department of Health. Department of Health, as I said, in this COVID, they acted beautifully. But unfortunately, there's a center which plans for health, there's a state which delivers health. So there is not uniformity across the country. Therefore, something can be done. Second thing is, as I said, we're spending the least amongst the countries. We say we are one of the, will be honored to advanced countries, but that we need help. So my suggestion is that they should spend anywhere from 3 to 5%, and the private should spend from 5 to 7 or 8%. So stay healthy. So that automatically increases the productivity. So there is clear statistics to show if a company spends 1 rupee on their people, the benefit they get is 13 rupees. So that I think everybody should think that way, saying we need good healthcare. For that, I have to play a role, and the health system in the country should play a role. And there's a huge benefit. Why India can be the major health driver in the world in about 10 years is simply because we're the only people who are young people. In 30s, 40% are less than 30. These people are available, so we can train them to become doctors, nurses, technologists, maintenance people, and all of these will have people. I think if the advantage of getting for medical tourists is ordinary tourist spends $2,000. Medical tourists will spend $20,000. And more than $20,000 that he spent, everybody today is, I won't say crazy, everybody wants this so-called natural medicine. Europe now is full of them. They charge almost ₹1,00,000 a day. Here we've got plenty of them doing genuine work. Our Ayurveda and Ayush is very genuine. So they will spend again another ₹10,000 there. So we could have them. And when you get, unfortunately, every time hospital is criticized, saying it's very expensive. Baba, what I said was, you calculate what my expense is, and then on top of it, give me 16%. So that 8% I have to give to the investors. Another 8% I want to develop and technology or more hospitals. That's how Apollo today 70 hospitals are built. That is because half I gave as dividend for the investor, half I reinvested into technology or into a hospital like Proton Hospital, 1,400 crores, the best cancer hospital in the world. Like that, I think if they criticize, but they never criticize a cup of coffee on the roadside is 3 rupees. In a one-star hotel is 5 rupees. It's 5-star is 150 rupees. Why? None of you talk about it. And Government of India 2 years ago gave us 60,000 villages to do telemedicine. And of course, I was very happy. Minister Ravi, he was the minister. He gave that. And we were very, very happy. Finally, when they went to the villages, we felt completely depressed. You know why? They don't speak languages. We have the local languages. That was our problem. So finally, we got this Apple, which translates. So now we are giving her the 60 villages. Not many, at least 5-10 calls come from each of these places once or twice a week. They are very happy that they are connected. They know they can get a hospital. In Arunachal Pradesh, on heights of 11,000, 12,000, we put our telemedicine centers. When patient gets high-tech, suppose they have a heart attack or major surgical illness, they want help. For 6 months, they're slowed down. They can't, except in a helicopter, you can't go there or go out. But at 6 months, these doctors in the telemedicine are able to help all the local people. And after that, they're given so many other centers to us. Even in abroad, about 250 countries connected to us. So I think the technology has made a lot of difference. And it will continue to make more, and more automation will come. So I think we'll have that pleasure of saying we can give better health for people.
Wow.
That is our happiness.
Dr. Reddy, what an honor. You are such an inspiration, as I said, as a country, as Indians, as people, as young people, all people. We are so proud to have you and what you have done for us, for all of us. Thank you so much. What an honor. I think we can continue this conversation and we should have more conversations at regular intervals because you have so much amazing, inspiring things to share. Thank you.